Hey guys, welcome back to Mad About Skin. First of all, let me say I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas and you, family, friends are all staying safe and well. In today's video, we're going to give a little bit of an update on the Purito sunscreen controversy. But we're taking it a bit wider and we're talking about some new testing done on Korean sunscreens generally. In my last video where I covered an update, if you remember back to the issues surrounding Purito originally, where it was tested to be an SPF 15, where Purito on their centella unscented sunblock were claiming to be an SPF of 50. That left a lot of people shook. There was some subsequent testing that showed it to be more like a SPF of 28. Whilst that's significantly better, it's still not what's advertised, and let's be honest, companies need to be advertising what they can actually deliver on products. This left a lot of people quite shook and feeling that maybe they couldn't trust Korean sunscreens in general. I said actually, whilst this is an issue with a number of sunscreens, there have been Western sunscreens which have fallen foul of this as well and misrepresenting the level of protection that they give. So we shouldn't write off all Korean sunscreens, we should wait to see more data. Fortunately, the Korean Institute of Dermatological Sciences is doing such research for us to have a look at some of our favourite and best selling Korean sunscreens by retail volume and working out what the SPF of them are. In the last video I did where I did an update, I promised that there'd be some more data out on Christmas Day, December the 25th, and we now have that data. Whilst it's not as comprehensive as I would have liked it to have been, where they would release full data sets so we can pore over it and look at the pros and cons and work out whether some of our favourite sunscreens are living up to their hype, it does give some quite concerning data points. So they tested a whole range of Korean sunscreens for efficacy against SPF of 50, which all of these were rated as. The initial test results have shown that none of them actually lived up to the SPF 50, which was advertised on the product. Now, these are initial tests and further testing has to be done, and I do think it's really important to note that they haven't released the full data set. Until we see that, we can pore over it and really judge for ourselves. We do need to be a little bit careful. However, the head of the Korean Institute of Dermatological Sciences said her feel on this is it's actually really difficult to achieve an SPF of 50 using a lotion or a lightweight formula. We all love Korean sunscreens because they deliver that lightweight, barely there feel to the skin. They feel great, they don't leave an ashy or a white cast, and they're really pleasant aesthetically and they have that really nice feel to them. Realistically, what the Korean Institute of Dermatological Sciences was saying is that it's quite difficult to be able to achieve an SPF level of 50 in that type of formulation. It can be done and has been done in the past, but it is really tricky, which is why it's not surprising a lot of these have fallen foul of producing results which are under an SPF of 50. What my take on this is, no one's asking them to produce SPF of 50. I'm quite happy with an SPF of 30 in my own skincare routine, but I want what is on the box to be delivered. So if you're promising an SPF 50, you need to deliver an SPF 50. If you can't, and you think actually we want to produce a lightweight formulation, but we're happy to do it in an SPF 30, that's absolutely fine, but companies need to state what the level of protection is and live up to it and test to make sure that they are delivering what they say. So this is a little bit disappointing. They are doing subsequent testing and more robust testing on all of them, so we do need to wait until that data set is released so we can make our own opinions on it. They're also going to be doing really in-depth testing on the 5 worst performing sunscreens in their initial tests, so we'll be able to tell from those what the true SPF value is. I know how disappointing this is going to be for a load of people to hear. I said in that original video that we shouldn't write off all Korean sunscreens, and I still think that to be the case. Western sunscreens have been subject to the same issues and errors in the past, as have sunscreens from most countries, even those with the tightest regulations such as Australia. So I don't want this to be a mark on the whole Korean sunscreen industry, but I do think perhaps we've been focusing too much on the formulation and the aesthetic, how nice the product is to use, prioritizing that over the level of protection. And maybe we do need to reassess. Maybe we need to go back to some of the thicker, maybe the less pleasant to use formulations, but then accept that they're going to be giving us a better level of protection, which fundamentally is what we're using the products for. I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings on that, so leave me a comment below. Fortunately, I have produced a video where I talk about some gorgeous sunscreens which deliver great protection and are independently verified, so I'll leave a link to that below, so check that out if you want to look for some alternatives. The Purito Centella unscented sunscreen is coming in at SPF of 28, which is still fine fine for those days where you don't need a super strength formulation. So I always encourage people, don't throw it out, use it up, use it as a moisturizer or when you're indoors or just running a few errands in some light UV rays. That's absolutely fine. And then switch to some of the other ones which are tried and tested. I can't wait to see the rest of the data set coming from the Korean Institute of Dermatological Sciences. I really want to know where some of my favourite Korean sunscreens sit. The Make Prem, the Claire's Watery Essence, all these gorgeous products which I've loved to use. I'd love to know what the true SPF value is. I hope that some of the companies will just reformulate slightly and then put the true SPF, now it is independently verified, on their products, so we can continue to enjoy the products. But time will tell whether that actually takes place. I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings. I'm hoping in the next 3 months, we have been promised the full data set. I'm hoping it'll be quicker than that, but I'll bring it to you as soon as I get it. I just wanted to jump on and share with you a little bit of an update of some of the other sunscreens which have unfortunately fallen foul of not being able to deliver that SPF of 50. I think it's totally right that the Korean Institute aren't releasing the names of these because preliminary tests can be wrong and they have a much higher margin of error. So it's definitely worth noting and waiting for the full results to come before we start naming and shaming. I'm not about this on the channel until we have our facts and our science to back it up. So that's why I'm not mentioning any names today, but check out that video, which I'll leave a link to below, where they talk more about the testing itself. So have a look at that for yourself to understand a little bit more of the background to this. Wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Take care. Bye.